Coach, this has been great so far. Thank you very much. It's been a lot of fun. We want to move now into our segment that we call Start, Sub, or Sit. And so for those maybe listening to this for the first time, we're going to give you 3 basketball topics, ask you to start one, ask you to sub one, and ask you to sit one. But we're going to do it a little bit differently since we have 2 of you on today and from the same staff, and you know each other obviously very well. Brooke playing for Coach back in the day and now coaching together. We figure you know each other's ins and outs pretty well. So I know it's an old newlywed game where you ask one person a question, the other one answers. We're going to try that with you both. And so what we're going to do to start is this first one, I'm going to ask Brooke what Sue would answer on these start, sub, sit questions. And then Sue, once Brooke's done, you can say what the right answer would or would not be. Okay. We'll see how we do. So this is themed hard to teach. So something that's really hard to teach in the game. So Brooke, start, sub, or sit, you think Sue's answers on hard to teach: posting up, passing into the post, or passing out of the post, with the start being the most difficult one?
I think she would definitely start passing into the post.
Okay.
And then I think in terms of hard to teach, I think, that next one's a tough one. I think I would say she would sub passing out of the post and then sit posting up. We love teaching post ups. So, the passing aspect is definitely one that we, all the passing in or out, wherever we're passing, that's definitely, we have not become masters of teaching that. So we're still working on that.
Okay. Coach, is she, how close is she?
100.
She's right on. All right. There you go.
Yeah. She rarely misses questions on tests. So she didn't miss one there either.
So just a quick follow-up from my end. You started the passing into the post. How do you all work on entering it into the post so it's not a turnover?
Oh man, we've worked on it every single day. This summer, this preseason, it's something that is really. It's something that should be simple, but is difficult and takes, that's really the separation. I mean, you watch the WNBA, those people can pass, and it's not something you really notice until you're kind of in it. And it just how to be an elite player, you have to be an elite passer on something as simple as that. So we work on it every day. Basically, what we want to do is first and foremost, like women, girls, we have a tendency to just put it over our heads immediately, put it over our heads. So it's just catch it, get in that triple threat right here, keep it still, see where your defender's hands are, and then, make a quick ball fake to throw a strike. We talk about throwing strikes. And if you're going to move the ball, ripping it low, that's usually usually the defender's hands are up. So rip it low so that also keeps it off of your head. So we work on all those things. And obviously the post player, whoever's down there, has got to give a great target. That's huge. But yeah, it's something we've really tried to work on a lot because got a lot of area to improve there.
Sue, do you differentiate or do you prefer chest pass or bounce passes into the post?
No, I don't. I don't prefer either. I think they're both important. I don't think a chest pass is ever going to get there. It's going to be one that maybe comes by your ear. Yeah. But I think what's really important too is which hand are you passing with to get it to the target hand. And so I'm a stickler for, a lot of left hand passing because a lot of people want to pass across their body and it's not the most efficient or effective.
You said that you guys work every day on posting up with your players. Sue, maybe sticking with you on that. How are you teaching post players to post and keep their angle and keep their position on a daily basis, like you mentioned?
Well, Brooke's done it for a long time, and she's one of the best that there is in that. And for a 6'1" player, she had to play in the post for a long time in high school or in college, and so she learned a lot. And even through playing in the WNBA and posting up bigger guards, those types of things, I think it's so important. And we have these, great kids with size, 6'5". It's really fun. But when they come to us from high school, they have no idea how to post up. Then you've got these kids that are versatile, these stretch fours, and they feel like, well, why do I have to do that? Well, do you want to shoot a 2-foot shot, or no, I really want to shoot a face up 3, but I think, do you want to score, or do you just want to shoot? So, that's something that over and over, I think this year we're going to be able to be a much better high-low team. We have a lot more depth in the post. And so Brooke's done a tremendous job of teaching them to read the defense. And then you've got to have your guards reading the defense too, to make sure that if they're playing on the high side and we're going to reverse pivot and seal them and all of those things, where does the ball go? So we work on it every day. We feel like our post game needs to be very dominant this year. And so our guards need to be able, and it opens it up for your guards as well.
Sure. Okay.
On that thread, the high-low pass, what are you teaching there? Oh.
The reverse seal?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we've gotten the help out of there, then we're going to put it high.
Okay.
And we're going to put it towards the rim.
Okay. Is there any target you're telling them just towards the rim?
Yeah. Wouldn't you say, Brooke, that that's the most?
Yeah, there's two. Well, and I get really specific about where is the ball. So I hate the reverse seal, like creating that space where the defender has her hand high in front. If we've got the ball at the absolute top of the key, the trail, I do not want that. That pass for us rarely gets there. If we're flashing to the high post, like to the nail, we want that pass, because now we can make that, there's that space, the proper spacing. So when we do have the ball at the trail, what we're working on with our posts is that you're trying to seal in such a way, that reverse seal where you're building a wall with your arms. So basically, if you're on the right side, if you're on the right block and you're reverse sealing, your left arm is so important. You're not just holding it off, holding your defender off at the waist. Like, you're trying to create like goalposts with your chest completely to the opposite sideline, and your defender's completely on your back.
No.
That pass I will be okay with, because the defender doesn't have her arm up over. I've battled her to get her behind me, and now a pass can come anywhere and I can go get it with 2 hands. It's really the idea of, like, when we're on the post too, when the ball's on the wing, we want to get, like, it's like we want to hold somebody off that's 3/4 and have our hand to the rim. Well, we can't see you. You got to get 10 toes towards the ball, create that. And now your hand isn't towards the rim. Like, now we can see your chest a little bit and see your hand and lead you somewhere. And you still have space to go get it, and you have an open layup. So it's that 10 toes, chest to the ball type of idea, even in the high-low situation when the ball's at the trail.
My next one. So I'm asking Sue for Brooke's answer. We're going to give you, it's a horns play. Actions to run with the big who popped, or the big that didn't roll. So would Brooke want the big to pin away, to run a second side action, to throw it to them for a handoff, a DHO on the second side, or to follow the point guard for a second pick and roll on the side?
She likes those. Because I would say it depends on the post. It's going to be, like that. That's going to be tough. We like a lot of dribble handoff action better than we like the pin away.
Okay.
But I would say she would start the dribble handoff action, and then she would sub the pin away. And the third one, I know whatever it was, I thought she'd said, but I could be wrong. It depends on the post, whatever post she's thinking of.
Brooke, how'd she do?
She did great. She did great. I mean, I like the idea of the dribble handoff, like giving it to the pop person. I think that's what you're saying. Giving it to that post that pops or short rolls, and then them going into a dribble handoff. To me, that is the action that gets the ball out of the point guard's hands or whoever's coming off that initial screen. The other two, she's got to come off. Now she's got to wait for another action, whether it's a pin down or a rescreen. To me, I start to get frustrated with our offense when our point guards have the ball in their hand too long, and we've got to wait for something to happen. I'm more in the mindset right now of like, let's get it out. Let's go. But it does depend. Like, can that post player at least do a one dribble, hand it off? Hopefully they can at least do that. And that gets, the ball in other people's hands and other people involved. And, so I do like that for a starter. And then, again, getting other people involved with a pin down or some other action without the ball is great. And then finally the rescreen, you need it. It's going to happen, but I would sit that one.
My follow-up is with the DHO. I'm always curious, how much emphasis do you put on how they deliver the actual handoff? I think a lot of times we just say, go to a DHO. And then when it starts to go wrong, you realize, well, okay, we obviously need to spend some time on how we make the handoff. So what are you telling the bigs to do on the handoffs?
Yeah, now. Oh, go ahead, Sue.
Oh, I'm going to let you jump in, and then I've got something to say too. Go.
Biggest thing that we get in trouble with is when the bigs start to go uphill. They're going back towards the half court line. And so we're moved back. And so for the bigs, it's like, if you can at least get that one dribble downhill and then create some space, and preferably in a perfect world, it's like downhill towards a defender, not just towards your teammate. If you're not freaking out too much with the ball in your hand, those are, and then obviously get on balance, get to two and wait for that guard to come off of you. That's what we're telling the bigs right now.
And we've gone from dribble handoff, now we do a dribble toss.
Yeah.
And so it's not just take it out of my hands. It's lay it out there for them.
With the dribble toss, do you want the offensive player to toss it and continue on to screen, or you want to just toss and sort of slip out of it? Or what's the preference after the toss for the big?
Yeah, we're finding that at least with our players, it happens really fast. Like we're doing it after a down screen, a guard to guard down screen. Right now is when we get it. So it's that guard is coming up pretty quick off of that down screen out of the corner area. So I want the post players to be set initially. Now when the ball's out of their hands, the guard is usually attacking. Sometimes though, if the defense has gone under, that guard will stop and reattack or shoot behind it, which is great when we can get that. So we are telling them pretty much like you want to screen and use it kind of as a screening opportunity.
Okay. Got it. All right. The next one we have. So again, I'm going to ask Brooke for Sue's answer here on this one. So the theme of this one is just things that teams do that are really hard to prepare for, but are not maybe part of their main offense or defense or something, but something they do maybe specifically that just gives you fits or you have to really prepare for it. So start, sub, or sit, a team that puts great pressure on you after a timeout to get the ball in bounds, doubles, or just makes it very difficult to get the ball in. A team that's really aggressive on offensive free throw rebounding. So either Xing in or spinning off, but really tries to get the offensive rebound. Or a team that after you make a free throw, does a great job of pushing the ball up the floor in some sort of after free throw make set into their offense. So all these little tiny things teams can do. What would Sue say is start, sub, or sit there, Brooke?
I think the first one would be the sideline out of bounds pressure. I would think she would start that one as the most difficult to prepare for that. And then sub would be getting it out of the net and pushing it off a free throw, that transition defense aspect. And then sit would be a team that crashes well on the free throw line.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I will see.
Sue, how'd she do?
Anything that applies immediate pressure when you're in a stopped dead position. And the first two do that. So you've got to prepare your team. What do they need to do that's harder than usual? Well, I mean, yeah, if they push it hard on a free throw, then I think it's difficult on a made free throw, but it's everybody doing what they already do in a transition defense. You're just supposed to do it. But I do think she's right. You got to start the fact that if you can't get the ball in, and there's different things that you have to prepare for to put in. And then I agree with her too, that then the sit would be, just do your job. People are going to go try to get the rebound. Some don't, but you better be prepared. So that's the one I'd sit.
With the after timeout pressure on the sideline, how do you work on that in practice to try to simulate getting the ball in against pressure?
We've got a lot of different looks, maybe too many, that we call. And so we work on those, consistently, especially if we know that a team is more preparing for a team that's going to do that.
Sure. And I guess one more quick follow-up too was just because, Pat and I've talked recently about teams that do a really good job offensively on after a made free throw, they push it and they get right into a really quick set. Maybe it's like pistol action or something that just up the sideline, even though it is everybody's job to get back. I mean, how much do you have to talk about that if a team does that? Brooke, maybe I'll throw this to you. In your scouting report, if a team's doing that, how much do you bring it up so that they're prepared?
Yeah, the one that we've seen most in that situation is where they overload the strong sideline, so you do have to talk about that, especially like a lot of times we like to press after a made free throw. We've done a 2-2-1 press in the past a lot. And so that overload just as a get it in and get it up, that really creates problems for that press. And so, it's talking about, we like that there is going to be that extra person. And so that ball, biggest thing is like, can't get over our heads. That's so we're trying to be up. We're trying to be on the first and second people along the sideline, which is normal. Now that third person is coming to the corner sideline. Someone's got to be there too.
Right.
That ball goes over our head in transition defense. We're cooked. So those are the things that's the one we see the most. And that's the one that you got to get everybody back just so quickly and finding along that 3-point line.
Absolutely. I know an old trick my head coach loves to do is subbing after every made free throw to set the press or to stop a sideline break.
That's good. I like that one.
Our last one. So again, I will be asking Sue for Brooke's answer. So Sue, things that get you beat during a game: start, sub, or sit, bad shots, bad fouls, or bad screening.
Well, I think she would say bad shots, because that occurs more often within the course of the game. So that's going to get you beat. I think, we talk about bad fouls, but I'm going to have to say bad screening, because if we can't get open looks because we just don't get bodies and we don't care, we don't get great angles, I'm going to say that would be her sub. And I'm going to say, yeah, it's bad to foul, but just don't be stupid. So I'm going to say she'd sit that.
Okay. All right, Brooke.
Well, the first one, definitely bad shots. That's a given. I would say, and I think I'm just traumatized, and so you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, just we've got some post players that are a little foul prone, and we got to keep them on the floor to be a good team. So I would say right now, like those, I'm just thinking of one particular case in particular, like those bad fouls kill us and have really hurt us, and especially I can think of several times, last year that we really put at a disadvantage when a particular player was, had some bad fouls. So, but I do think, that bad screening, Pat, that's a great question. Just that's everything. And when we can't, you can't do that, whether it's off the ball, on the ball, you're relying on to have really, really good players that can just make plays. And,
sure.
That's tough in a league like the ACC. Everybody's really good.
My first follow-up is regarding the bad shots. And I'm just curious, how much time do you guys spend on defining shot quality or shot selection?
Go ahead, Brooke.
I know you were going to take it, Sue, because Sue is so great at defining it. Like you said, Pat, like just being really specific with players on, like we talked about at the beginning, that role meeting that we talk when we talk to them about it. It's what is a good shot for you and what is a bad shot, and that's different, obviously, for every single person. And we really use numbers. We stat every practice, and we use those hard numbers just to say, sorry, this time in the shot clock. And whether it's open or not, it's not a good shot right now. And explaining to each player why it's different for each of them. We talk about that as a group. And so just using numbers and being real, then it's on the player and to back up, data driven, just explanations.
Within those conversations, and I guess with some of your better players, are you more lenient in allowing them to take some poorer shots to find their rhythms?
Yeah, I think so. I think, Kelly does a nice job over at Oregon with giving his kid red, yellow, and green lights within their practice time and drills and all of that. We looked at some of that, and it was good to a point. I think there are kids that you have to give them that opportunity to get in the rhythm. And that's our job, is to put them in a position to get them the best shot that they can get. I think bad shots are never good shots. I mean, even if they're trying to, get the ball out of their hands into a rhythm. So misses, to get in, but not really bad shots.
When you say put them in position, is that as maybe you'll call a play they know that is designed for them and kind of live with whatever outcome, obviously you're not going to tell them to take a bad shot just to take one, but in the back of your head, like, we want him to get a shot kind of no matter what.
Yeah. And I'm thinking of 3 specific players on my team right now. One is super athletic and is going to go make a play. One is a great pull-up jump shooter, and one's a great 3-point shooter. So if I want to get one of those kids a shot, then you want to run something that is going to put them in that position. And at the same time, if they don't make the right read, don't shoot the shot. And that's where on them is they have to learn what is an open shot. And if you made the wrong read, then we've got to be patient enough. Because again, it's not about 2 or 3 kids. I mean, we've finally got a roster again where I hope we have 5 players in double figures. And that's the way I like to play basketball. So I expect perfection. I'm sorry, I bad in the Pat, but we reach for it. We're not going to hit it. We reach for it.
Absolutely. Both of you are off the start sub sit hot seat. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for going through that with the newlywed game. So you know each other both pretty well. I don't know. Good synergy here.